everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. In a recent video, I mentioned that now that my ex is not just my ex in name only, but officially, although I'm going to back that up for a second, I believe it's official. This supposedly happened December 15th, but I have yet to receive any paperwork, no notification, other than my attorney texting me and saying that. Now, this very same attorney has not responded to my emails or the text I sent, other than to text me back to say she's been busy. All right. I'm going to try to be polite here. I will have much more to say about that in a future video, believe me. But back to today's video, now that I'm assuming I'm divorced, my muzzle is off. I've been making videos on YouTube now for 2.5 years. You can go back and watch videos when I still didn't know what would happen, when I didn't know if I thought my ex might try to force his way back into the house. I made videos when I was terrified. I talked about my fears. I shared my triumphs. You were with me when I escaped my ex. I can remember being in the U-Haul with Joe, and and even Joe came to me through YouTube, and we crossed over the state line from New Hampshire to Massachusetts, and I was talking about it on the community page. When my beloved dog got cancer, and when he was called home, you were there. You know my daughter. You know her better than her own father. You know she published a book. He doesn't. You welcome Joe to the channel with open arms. Very often you hear my chickens clucking in the background in my videos. You know me really well, but you know me now. You know me how I am now. You didn't know me when I was with my ex, when I panicked when he was on his way home from work, when I begged him. The last few months of our entanglement were really bad, and I would beg him, please, please, please just leave so I don't have to call the police. When I was afraid to even look at people, you didn't know me then. When I had major social anxiety, or I thought I had social anxiety, I should say. And Joe said to me one time, he said, "Oh, were you always like that?" And that blew my mind when he said that, because I'm thinking, no, I actually wasn't. And maybe this happens to you too. But to me, there was this point where somehow my life was divided into two sections. Before the narcissist, which didn't exist anymore, and after the narcissist. So I kind of had it where, my whole life, I was always the same way. This was how I was. Until Joe said that, I didn't consider, that isn't how I always was. I used to be different. Now I lay my life out in excruciating detail. But I used to be afraid of my own shadow just a few years ago. Just a few years ago, it would have been unthinkable to even consider sharing my life. Leaving my ex, actually getting a divorce? No. I saw my ex's death as my escape. Something had to happen to him. That was the only way. And I believed that deeply. I had no belief in my own strength. That didn't exist. My fear existed, my trauma existed, my fervent hope and desire that he would die existed. This is not an exaggeration when I tell you I used to literally get on my hands and knees and pray to God. I would pray to him, beg him, lay out a whole list of reasons that he should take my ex. I wanted him to take him out for me. I was trying to have God be a hitman for me. And that's how I felt. I had no belief in myself. Joe always says, I'll just go back one thing. And I used to get mad at God sometimes. How could you not take him out for me? God, he was working for me. That's how I looked at it. He needed to take care of this terrible problem. I never considered I actually had the power to do that. Joe said before that it's like going through withdrawal, getting over a relationship, getting through an entanglement with a toxic person, with a narcissist. I think he's right. Joe's pretty open about his past struggle with alcohol addiction, and I've gone to several 12-step meetings with him. And what is pretty typical, what happens at all these meetings is that at some point, somebody gives a testimony. So, and it's basically always the same. You know what they're going to say. The person had no hope. They hated being an alcoholic, but even the thought of living without alcohol was terrifying. It was impossible. Sure, they could think about it, they could fantasize about it, but actually doing it, impossible. Maybe for somebody else, but never them. And I'm sure each of those men and women believed that people who actually conquered their addiction had something they did not: more money, more support, more willpower. I did something just like that. I loathed my ex. And I use that word a lot when I describe him, loathe, because it really is the most appropriate word for me to use. Because if I tell you that I hate him, it doesn't feel the same. Loathe. I was repulsed by him. I desperately wanted my freedom. But while other people could get out, I couldn't. I would watch YouTube videos, I would read articles, and I would hear about other people. I believed that they could get out, but my belief was that I could not. And my belief became my reality, my prison. What I didn't know was that I was my own warden. What we focus on, what we feed our minds is powerful. Think of how powerful words are. A tongue is very sharp. You can cut someone down with a tongue, or you can be very sweet with your tongue. If you believe in God, think about God brought everything that you see, all of existence, into existence with words. Well, we're talking to ourselves, and what do you think that does to us inside? What we feed our minds is powerful. I stayed with someone I was afraid of because I didn't believe in myself. And sure, I had reasons to believe that. I had reasons to think that. So do you. So did Joe. So did those alcoholics who I was telling you about. There's always a reason to be afraid. But there's the flip side too. There's always a reason to make a different choice. If you think about it, the choices that we make accumulate and become our life. What time you wake up? Do you wear a seatbelt? What type of food do you eat? Do you exercise? Who are your friends? These choices accumulate and it becomes you. If you hear anything in this video, hear this. I wish I had left sooner. And this is the most important sentence in the whole video. So I'm going to say it again. I wish I had left sooner. Just like no one who conquers an addiction says, yeah, I wish I had stayed an alcoholic longer. People who leave abusive relationships don't say, geez, I wish I'd given it a few more years. I gave my ex 20 years. Maybe I should have given him 25 years. That might have made the difference. Maybe when I was 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 70, maybe when I'm 96 years, 2 months, and 3 days old, then he would have changed by then. Maybe one day he'll be struck by lightning and get it. The secret to leaving is your mindset. That's it. Thoughts are so powerful. If you're with a narcissist and feel trapped, believe that for whatever reason you are an exception, you can't leave, other people can, you can't, guess what? That is what's keeping you trapped. Imagine for a moment that right now, suddenly, someone bursts into this house and kidnaps me. They take me away and they put me in this bunker and abuse me. What would I do? Do you think that I would be in my bunker trying to find any possible means of escape? Or would I blame myself? Well, I did leave the door unlocked. Yeah, I would try to escape, but I just think he's going to catch me. I won't be able to escape. At some point, me wanting to escape would become me not believing I could escape. And then, even when the bunker's open, I can see daylight, I'll be thinking to myself, he's going to catch me if I leave. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. That will become the reality. That attitude would destroy you. And that's what so many of us do. I can't do it. This might happen. That might happen. Fear is the death of us. Belief that a narcissist is stronger than us will destroy us. I poured myself into my entanglement with my ex. I'm going to tell you how I was as a wife with him. All right. Now, this is embarrassing, but every word is true. I treated him like a king. I did all the housework. I raised the kids without any help from him. And I'll tell you something, this is like a little side note, that used to really bother me because he didn't help me at all with anything. I would need to go out to a doctor's appointment, the dentist. I would take my kids with me sometimes, unless I could get a babysitter, like my mother or something. That was what I had to do. When my son was 1, he fell, hit his head on an end table, and he had to get stitches. I called my ex in the car on the way to the hospital, and I told him what happened. And I was like, I need you to come meet me at the hospital because I need you to watch Paris so I can concentrate fully on our son. He wouldn't do it. I used to get so upset, all right? But what I realize now is that because he didn't have anything to do with the kids, they weren't influenced by him. My kids are different. Joe and I have talked about this before. His kids are different than my kids. His kids had a lot of influence under their mother, the narcissist. My kids didn't. I raised my kids basically apart from my ex. There's none of him in them. It's really weird. It's almost like when I said a minute ago that I didn't realize that I was a different person before my ex. I didn't realize that with him not having an influence on them, it's made my life, it's made their life a lot better. We can kind of move on as the three of us. So just consider that. But back to me. So I did all the cooking. You guys, I ironed and laid his clothes out every day. I made his lunch every day. I spoiled him. The only task he did was pay the bills, and I was appreciative and grateful, always let him know. Then I discovered that one task that I was so thankful for, so grateful for, is the way he financially abused me. I'm still paying for that right now, and so are my kids, I might add. If that's you, you pour all your love and kindness into someone, and then all you get back are teeny little broken pieces, occasional kindness, empty promises, lie after lie with a toxic person. You're begging them to give you any affection, begging them to talk to you. Monsters are real. And I'm ashamed to say this, but it's happened. I begged my ex. I begged him to talk to me. I begged him to be different. I literally begged, as a grown-ass woman, I begged my husband to give me any attention at all. Don't make the mistake of unseeing things. Don't do that. Don't see it. Don't recognize it. Don't understand that's not right, and then talk yourself out of it. It isn't normal, and it's not our responsibility to fix somebody else. Joe sometimes, not that he's broken, but I'll just use this as an example. He has one of the issues that he's had with CPTSD is extreme exhaustion. So he needs to go to these meetings in the morning for his mental health. And there are so many mornings he doesn't do it. He'll tell me, I can't, I'm too tired, I can't do it. And I said to him, oh, come on, Joe, you can do it. And then one day I realized, you know what? He has to want to do it himself. Even if I literally pulled him out of bed, pushed him in the car, and drove him there myself, he has to participate. It's not our responsibility to treat a grown-ass man or woman, try to change them. It has to come within. Just like, and I know this, when I was trapped with my ex, nobody could have said something to me. People did. My pastor told me, he's like, you can't stay with this person. I mean, my pastor, you need to leave him. It's not good for your kid. You have to get a restraining order. You must do this. And here I am. Yeah, but you don't get it. I can't. So me telling you this, I know until you get it, it's going to be, well, she's wrong. She doesn't get it. I have this problem. I have this reason. I have blah, blah, blah. I know. I did exactly the same thing, but it's your choices. So when you understand this, when you get it, yeah, that is the problem, that's when you can change. And don't forget, if you have children, your kids are watching this. They're watching you get abused, and they're watching what you do. I have a 19-year-old daughter, Paris. Many of you know her. And actually, just a little sneak peek, she's going to be on the channel on Friday. My daughter wrote a book, and I'm giving away 10 copies of her book. I'm going to give away some other prizes. We're going to have kind of a divorce celebration. So definitely be there on Friday. We're recording the video on Wednesday, but it'll be out on Friday. So let's just talk to my 19-year-old daughter. All right, if she was in a relationship with somebody and she dealt with 1% of what I did, I would be horrified. And I would wonder why she stayed. Why? How? Oh my God, you're someone's child too. I believe that you deserve what you are willing to give in a relationship. When you give everything and you get pieces back that the abuser uses to hurt you, blame you for something they did, please begin today to wake yourself up. Don't do what I did, what Joe did. Don't stay because of fear. I'm going to tell you something, and I've told my kids this. If you're ever in a situation with a mass shooter, do not submit. Do not hide and cover yourself with a box. No, run for your life. For one thing, it isn't easy to hit a moving target. Also, running gives you your best chance to survive. But if you get hit, it would be better to go down running away than hiding and submitting and being destroyed. Save your life. I'm going to be making a video pretty soon about some practical advice, things related to saving money, putting things in your name, etc. Today, though, begin by making a better choice. Begin by looking at your life and at least think about how you could at least maybe possibly leave. Not that God has to take away your spouse, not that, well, there has to be a car accident and then, or like you go crazy and you're like, well, I could take him out myself. Think of how you could leave this person and live a new life. Consider it. Think about it. It took me 6 years to leave. So it wasn't like I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm getting out of here. It wasn't like that. It took 6 years, but gradually, my mindset changed. And that is really the secret. You are keeping you in the toxic relationship. Only you can get yourself out. You are your own secret weapon. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will be back on Wednesday, and then on Friday, don't forget, it's a special one with Paris. I think we're going to put that out. Actually, you know what? It might not be Friday. I got to think about this. We're making the video on Wednesday because of our work schedules, but I'm thinking about doing one where we can live chat with you guys during the video. So if you're still listening, would it be better for us to put the video out maybe on Saturday evening or something like that so that more people could not watch it, but listen to it and live chat with us? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. God bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.